I'm walking down near Candler Lake in Murphy Park, Georgia. It's one of the most beautiful spots in my neighborhood, and I really enjoy it. I come down here to exercise and to relax and to enjoy the beauty of this beautiful, beautiful weather. Right now, it's 66 degrees, perfect weather to be out vlogging. So I hope that you are enjoying it as much as I am, and I'm having a ball with this. I am having one ball. I love this weather. It's late morning, so there are not a lot of people out. During the evening, after work hours, people tend to come out more often. But now, it's just beautiful, beautiful weather. Testing, 1, 2, 3. This is John Armwood on the Armwood Opinion channel. And today I'm here to talk about what has been going on for the past week here in the United States of America. We are in a very sad situation, to say the least. Those of you who have been watching the news, and I know a lot of you haven't because the news has been very depressing, and I understand that. I have cut back actually on my TV watching of the news and spend spend most of my time reading the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the print media. And I'll watch Chris Hayes on MSNBC and a few minutes of Chris Matthews is all I can take, and I get a gist of what's going on, fairly detailed, of course, from the New York Times and the Washington Post. What we're seeing is a direct result of the current administration knowing that it does not have a foe in the Democratic Party who is used to dealing with a gangster. Remember when Jeff Sessions was Secretary of State? Trump kept on saying that he wanted a consigliere like Roy Cohn. He wanted a gangster lawyer. Well, with William Barr, he has one. And what the Democratic Party is doing is what gangsters and bullies always do. They stonewall. They fight you. They don't give an inch to you. And they dare you to try to do anything about it. Nancy Pelosi doesn't understand this. She's a woman of privilege, grew up the daughter of a mayor in Baltimore, went to a prissy small college, ranked, I believe it was 167th in regional schools in the Northwest by U.S. News and World Report. So obviously it was not a very competitive school. She didn't get to have to deal with tough people. She learned how to deal with her social circle, the social circle of the wealthy and the privileged. That's who Nancy Pelosi is most comfortable with. That's who she knows how to deal with. Donald Trump is not from the same kind of background. Donald Trump is a bully. His father was a bully and a gangster. Remember in 1927, he was arrested at a Ku Klux Klan rally, protesting Catholics' immigration to the United States. Sound familiar? She does not know how to fight somebody like this. She is trying the Neville Chamberlain strategy, appeasement, like Neville Chamberlain, when he was British Prime Minister, tried in the early days of World War II, telling Hitler, oh, you can take Poland. Now, Trump is no Hitler, more like Mussolini in Italy. He's a buffoon. But you cannot fight a gangster with appeasement. It doesn't work. You cannot fight a gangster with appeasement. All they understand and respect is strength. He does want the impeachment fight that Pelosi says she's not going to give him. But the reality is that he is a criminal. He has obstructed justice. There's evidence that he colluded with the Russians. Whether it's enough to convict him on that is questionable. But clearly he obstructed justice. So the only constitutionally sound thing to do is to impeach him. This was contemplated in the Federalist Papers. It was contemplated at the summer of 1989 convention in Philadelphia, that hot summer when the Constitution was ratified. And we've done it historically. We've done it with Andrew Johnson, 1868, I believe, was the year. We did it, of course, with Nixon in 73, 74, that period of time. And it happened again with Bill Clinton over far less serious charges. So what I'm saying is that Nancy Pelosi is not who we need as a leader. We need a wartime consigliere. We need more than a consigliere, we need a leader. A consigliere is a lawyer for the mob. We need somebody who is serious, who knows how to lead, and we need a strategist who knows how to fight, who is familiar with tough fighting like you have to do in the gangster world in New York. That's the world that Trump comes out of. He smells weakness in Nancy Pelosi, and he is manipulating that weakness. That is the problem. He sees her weakness, and he is manipulating it. That's what we don't need. We need to show him strength. We need to back him to the wall. And the way to do that is to impeach him. I've been saying this for over a year. And too many Democrats are afraid. They think that the voters will turn against them. No, they will not. The voters will respect the Democratic Party. It will build enthusiasm among the base. Remember, Trump's core base is only 30-some% of the vote. Only 30-some% of the vote. When people are forced to deal with the crimes that he has done, it'll be more difficult. In an impeachment proceeding, it's much harder for the people in government to stonewall and refuse to turn over documents like they're doing now. Nancy Pelosi has made a strategic error, and she doesn't get it. She has not gotten it, and she's boxed herself in a corner where it's going to be very hard for her to back down because of her pride. I mean, she is way out of her league right now, and that's the reason that the Democrats are in a pretty bad situation. Trump could easily get reelected. Democrats are counting on maybe that Trump can't get reelected. They are not being wise. They didn't think he would be elected in the first place. And so they were complacent in states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. We have to understand that Donald Trump can get reelected. And if we don't watch out, he will get reelected. We need to start impeachment proceedings which give the Congress much more power to demand documents, to demand records, to demand testimony. We saw one back down yesterday when Donald Trump Jr. facing possible contempt, decided to go ahead and testify. That is good, but it's not enough, and it's not strong enough. We need the Democrats to be more serious and demand that the impeachment proceedings go forward. That's the only way that we're going to get him out of office. And I'm not saying through the conviction process. The Republicans, as we know, I mean, we have hypocrites like Lindsey Graham who will never vote to get Trump out of office, even though he supported the impeachment and conviction of President Clinton for far less. Listen to the tape of Lindsey Graham. It's unbelievable.
I'm telling you, momentum is shifting toward impeachment because people are looking at the facts and coming to realize the president committed serious crimes, and it's not just about sex. The idea of this is an accusatory function here. We're not the trial. The trial's in the Senate. Our job is to find credible evidence. If there is warning impeachment from that evidence, grand jury perjury, obstruction of justice by the president, I think are high crimes or misdemeanors. The only thing to change my mind would be direct, honest candor on his part. The president has to earn censure.
So what can you and I do? Continue to write our Congress people, tell them that we are very unhappy with Nancy Pelosi's lack of leadership, and we want to see impeachment proceedings go forward immediately. That is what we need to do. We can do this. We can do this. We must do this for the sake of the country now, for the sake of our children, and for the sake of our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, as well as for us. Because look what Trump is doing. He's now preparing, with John Bolton's leadership, a war against Iran. Presidents tend to wag the dog. They tend to start wars and do all sorts of crazy things when they feel they're under attack. By not going straight at him, it leaves room for him to do that. The country is not going to be focused on the Democratic agenda like Nancy Pelosi and some Democrats want them to do. That's not going to be an issue in the election. It's going to be the candidacy of Donald Trump for re-election. That's going to be no matter what. I saw Hakeem Jeffries on Morning Joe this morning, and he's saying none of his voters out in Brooklyn asked about Trump. He's full of it. He is not telling the truth. That's all people are talking about. You know, it's amazing how some politicians will follow the party line of the leadership no matter what. Not just Republicans like Lindsey Graham. Democrats will do the same thing. And Democrats who are following Nancy Pelosi are doing the same thing. We, as citizens, as their constituents, have to tell them that enough is enough. We're not going to take it anymore. As from the great line from the movie Network, we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. That's what they need to hear from us. That's what we need to do. We need to make sure that what we want is being heard by our representatives. And we need a new leader in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi is not up to the job. She has shown herself to be weak, not particularly astute. So we need wartime leaders. We're in a war for our country. Not a war using the weapons of violence, but a war using the political and institutional process to stop this creeping move to dictatorship. And that's what we're witnessing, a creeping move toward dictatorship. The population, the country, is being cowered by Donald Trump. They're getting used to his misbehavior, and it becomes, oh, it's Donald Trump, it's okay, this is what he does. That is not okay. That is not acceptable. And as I always say, resistance is not futile. And as John Oliver said back, I believe it was 2016, when Trump was running, make Donald Trump again. All right, you folks have a good day.